What's going on, guys? It's your favorite blue guy here. Earlier, I posted a community poll asking you guys what story you wanted me to tell you about. Unsurprisingly, a single choice won the clear majority of the poll: my experience with guilds. Important blue disclaimer. If you want to partake in these polls and choose what videos you want to see from me in the future, then listen up. See that blue rectangle down there? It's a little bit tiny, but it's there. That is a unique Blue Freak subscription button. If you click that and turn notifications on, you'll get automatic notifications for when I post. I usually make a poll regarding an upcoming video the day after I upload, so look out for those to decide which videos I make in the future. Here's your pre-video homework, folks. Stare at this bar graph for 10 seconds. Awesome, fantastic. Now let's get that percentage down to like 20. I really think we can do it. Okay, enough advertising. On to what you guys actually came here to listen to me talk about. Chances are, if you've ever come forward to me asking me to join your guild, the most I've probably told you is, I'm not going to be participating in any guilds anymore, and I usually won't delve into it further and leave it at that. But today, however, I am indeed going to delve further into it. I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience with guilds, the issue I have with guilds as a whole, and why I don't plan on joining any in the future. Important blue disclaimer. Now, before I go further into these things, the amount of work that goes into running guilds like this, these giant 125 plus member guilds, which have at tops 5 people or so running things, takes so much time. Whether it's having events, get-togethers, or just flat out making sure things are in proper order, running these things take a lot of effort. It's not a nothing thing to do, so I thought I'd put that out there before talking about some of these things. So let's start off with my experience in guilds. I'm unable to count on both of my hands the amount of different guilds that I've been a part of throughout my time on Hypixel. I've been a member in pretty much every single category of guilds you could think of. I've been in such sweaty guilds like Team Rec and Rebel, and I've also been a part of the complete opposite type, like the Cookie Factory, Copycats, Soulfly, among many others. I even once tried to start my own guild one time, and suffice to say, it didn't last long. The reason I used to join guilds in the first place was that I wanted to be able to find players to play a certain game mode with at any time. It felt incredibly easier to do that in guilds, and the events that most of these guilds would run would also give me some potentially good content YouTube-wise. Of course, that's not the only reason I joined. I would also join these guilds because I was usually able to trust the people who were running it. People who ran these guilds were usually people I've known for a little while, and who I knew were all about wanting to create a fun and non-toxic environment for all members in these guilds. While I would always have strong positive feelings going into these guilds and enjoyed the majority of my time in them, there was one sad thing in common, and that is that I left nearly all of these guilds with a bad taste in my mouth. And if I didn't leave it myself, the guild disbanded before I left. Let's go into that a little bit more. Let's move on. The issues I have with guilds as a whole. Guilds were very different back then than they are now. As time has gone on, guilds have started to feel more and more like homework to me. A lot of guilds nowadays, even the smaller and not as seriously taken ones, are requiring some form of activeness. Important blue disclaimer. Now listen, that makes sense, because a guild should want its players playing a lot in order to make the guild seem more inviting to potential takers in the guild section. Those guilds just aren't fun to be a part of, despite how nice or not nice the people in the guild may seem. The super ultimate prime example of this is Rebel. Rebel is the second highest ranked guild of all time when it comes to levels. They have super strict requirements that you must meet guild XP wise per week in order to continue staying in the guild. Otherwise, you'll get replaced. Not only was Rebel a continuous anxiety attack with no stress ball because of that, but Rebel also had its fair share of
naughty words
as well. A pattern you guys will likely see when it comes to my experiences with these guilds is either the leadership being awesome, but the members being uncool, or vice versa. Rebels' leadership themselves were fantastic to talk with. They have a clear love of the game, they care about their members, and they care about their guild looking as welcoming as possible for other players. To this day, I still have no clue how I was able to get accepted into Rebel and stay in it for as long as I did, but the constant requirements and strictness of it all, combined with some of the unwelcoming toxic members of the guild, eventually got to me. And once UC started getting worse, I realized it was time to leave, so I left Rebel. Now let's talk about a guild that is completely the opposite of Rebels. the Cookie Factory. This was the last major guild that I decided to be a part of before deciding to split from guild life for good. Me being in the Cookie Factory came from a several month-long break from guilds. At that point, I had already basically quit guilds for good, but I decided to give it one more try based on some encouragement from some friends of mine. After looking around for a good while and letting guilds come to me and tell me why I should join their guild, I eventually decided to submit an application for the Cookie Factory. I had hoped that being in this guild would change my outlook on guild life, and I had also hoped that I would have a fantastic time and that I would be a part of this group for years to come. Sadly, that did not happen, and I was left with yet a similar incident that I had experienced all too much while being in guilds. Another main thing I don't like about guild culture is that it feels like a college dorm or an apartment. It feels like you're living with tons of random people. Some you may like, some you may not like, and some you absolutely can't stand. I think that makes sense to you guys, hopefully. Again, keep in mind that the guilds I'm talking about always have the 125 people at all times, and I liked and had good relationships with the huge majority of them. In fact, I still do. But in a guild, all it can take is one person, 2 people, to change everything. And that's sadly what ended up happening with Cookie Factory. I was beginning to dislike the people that I originally saw as friends, and that's absolutely the last thing I wanted to happen. I wanted to still see these guys as my friends, and I still wanted to be able to talk to them without having guild culture come between us. So because of me not wanting to start disliking friends of mine, due to the amount of homework guilds nowadays feel like, and due to an inescapable specific college dorm atmosphere that all these guilds have, I made my decision after leaving Cookie Factory that I would never ever join another guild or make a guild of my own again, and so far, I have yet to regret it. It's so much nicer to hang out on the server at your own pace, not always having to read guild chat at the same time 5 people are messaging you. It's nice to not have to constantly feel like you have to be online and playing at all times. It's awesome to be in one less Discord server, less pings, less mentions, less times, etc. Now, don't take this the wrong way. This is not an advertisement for staying away from guilds. I'm just merely describing my own reasons as to why I will not join one again. I know there are several of you out there that cannot relate whatsoever to what I had to say about guilds. I know that most of you guys watching are likely in guilds of your own and have blasts hanging out with your friends in them, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. On the other hand, there should also be nothing wrong with me not wanting to be in guilds, so I really do hope that you guys watching will be able to respect that, and I'll be able to respect you guys being in guilds of your own as well. Before I officially end the video, I wanted to officially announce the launch of my brand new channel, Blue Freak VODs. As of the moment of watching this, there are 4 full-length, mostly unedited VODs of streams I have done on this channel in the past, and all streams I do on this channel in the future will be uploaded to there. So if you ever miss any live stream of mine for whatever reason and want to watch them in full, make sure you subscribe to Blue Freak VODs. I'll put a link in the description, make sure you at least check it out. There are a lot of fun times to be had in Blue Freak VODs. Alright guys, that's why I'm not in guilds anymore. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what video you want to see next. Peace!